right, welcome to our Character GPS Annual Leadership Luncheon. We're so glad that you're here. We have a lot of great things to share with you, and we're just feeling blessed. So the first thing that we want to there we go, is our sponsors. So if our table sponsors could stand up just for a minute so we can recognize that they are a big part of helping to support our luncheon here. So John, if you can stand up, and who else are our table sponsors? Bruce. Yep. So again, these are the other people that have been supporting Character GPS over the years, so you might recognize some of the companies here. And then, of course, we have some private donors as well. Dr. Gills has been with us from the beginning. So again, we're thankful for their support in helping us to continue our mission to deliver our Character GPS program to all the students. We're going to kind of give you an update on that. So to get started here, we would like to bless the food, and we are so honored to have our dear friend, Pastor Phil Ressler, is going to give us the honor of a blessing over our food and our event. Phil, give him a hand, please.
Well, let us pray. Good and gracious God, we thank you and praise you for your many blessings, for your mercies that are new each and every morning. We thank you for this food that we are receiving. We thank you for this time together. We thank you for the work of Jeff and Debbie and the work of Character GPS and all the many lives of students that have been touched through the years. And we pray, Lord, just that you would continue to prosper that ministry and our time here together today. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Phil. Just a quick, we want to kind of recognize we have a lot of dear friends that have been with us on the journey, but one friend that I'd like to have her stand up, Beretta Wilson, has been with us for 10 years, working with Stewart Middle. It started out with helping some kids in the LEAP program trying to get caught back up. And then we had a GPS club, and the kids put a rap together. We played that at the school. And then we've had summer camps. So Beretta has just been a wonderful partner for us. So Beretta, thank you so much for being here with us. And we are going to then just take a quick break, make sure that everyone's got their lunch, and then we will start in on our program here. So just a moment. Okay, I hope everyone's enjoying some great Cuban food. How's it tasting so far? All right, thumbs up? Okay, 2 thumbs up. All right. So we are so glad to have you come. Each year, we take time out of our very busy schedule to celebrate what we've accomplished at Character GPS, and really with the support of all of you. So this is kind of like our opportunity to look and say what is going on with Character GPS, to share with you some of the highlights, some of the new partners that we have. We have some great speakers that will help you to learn a little bit more of what the challenges that our kids are facing. And, of course, we're going to celebrate with some awards for some of our students as well. So as I had mentioned, our great partnership with Beretta and Stewart Middle, we started doing summer camps, and we really saw a need that kids trying to prepare for high school, especially when COVID hit and everything, kids just really weren't ready for that leap from middle school to high school. So talking over with Beretta, said, why don't we do then a summer camp and make it focused to 8th graders preparing for 9th grade? So kind of our little marketing approach was, we called it High School Prep Boot Camp. We wanted kids to get in the mindset of what it's going to take to be successful in high school, and to give them the sense of a running start instead of just plopping into ninth grade as a freshman and kind of looking around trying to figure it out. We really wanted them to prepare and understand so that when they got to high school, they could hit the ground running. They had the confidence, the preparation, and we've really seen the gain in the confidence of some of our students, and we'll be sharing some here, Pastor Phil's kids as well. So we had 2 summer camps this last year at Stewart. Again, they came from a lot of our the magnet for Stewart Middle, so science, math, the STEM programs, and so that's why you see a lot of boys. we had a few girls, but for some reason I guess they didn't show up because of too many boys. I don't know, but anyways, again, each time we do our summer camps, it's it's the whole program in 1 week. So we just immerse them in the Character GPS toolkits, and it's amazing to see how quickly they can get up to speed when they're pulling it all together. So the summer camps are very powerful. We also did a summer camp up in New York, where Debbie's from, North Tonawanda, because it's one of 3 anti-bullying communities. They actually have an ordinance because they had a problem with bullying, and so they decided we don't want bullying in North Tonawanda anymore. So they wrote this ordinance that if your kid is caught bullying, you get 1 warning, and then you can go to jail and be fined. And guess what happened to the bullying problem? It seemed to disappear, right? So we went up to partner with the Parks and Recs up there to show our support. So we've been going up periodically for that. So again, another intensive 1 week of our program. And then, of course, while we're working, we always have to take a break with Debbie's birthday. And her favorite birthday celebration is the volcano cake. So we kind of have to work that in. So you got to work and play. You got to find some life balance in our very hectic schedule. So here's a video that quickly just kind of describes, again, what our intent with our program is.
Our young adults are surrounded by negative influences from the media and problems like bullying, disrespect, and lying. Character GPS can help our communities get back on track. Students are engaged in 8 weeks of interactive multimedia workshops that focus on real-life application of 16 character values. Lessons include practical exercises, action plans, and assessments that help integrate these values into thoughts and actions. Let's all work together to steer our children and communities toward a better way.
Just plop the kids on the path to success, but we know there's a lot more involved in that. But getting the kids on a straight line to their future is one of the keys that allows our program to get the kids' attention and help them motivate themselves to choose to be focused. So in our program, we've been partnering this year now for the fall with Turkey Creek, and so we love to do some of our exercises. This is one where we do talking about hitting targets. So I do my little impression of a bow and arrow, and Debbie then blindfolds me and turns me around. She always has fun doing that, getting me dizzy, spun around. But our point with the kids is I have a better chance of hitting my target blindfolded and turned around than they do if they don't have a target at all. You can't hit targets you don't have. So that's why we impress upon the kids. You got to set goals, right? If you don't set a goal, you're automatically setting yourself up for failure. So our mission statement that we created way back from the beginning, Lord kind of inspired us to say that we are on fire for providing life-changing character development experiences, resources, and personal growth for children and their influencers. So it's more than just the family. By equipping American youth to discover their unique value, their God-given value, everyone's priceless, what they stand for, and how to pursue their lifelong dreams by focusing on smart goals, changing our world one child at a time. And so this mission statement still gets Debbie and I up every morning to pursue another day of our opportunity to even just reach one child at a time to help make a difference in this world. Because we tell the kids, You are our future. We're investing in our future. And our country's gone through a lot of challenges. We need to make sure we get our future locked down, and that means our kids. So at Turkey Creek, we have had the pleasure of working with an amazing teacher, Greta Smith, in the Avid. Greta, could you stand up for everyone here, Greta? I know she doesn't like a lot of accolades, but give her a hand. She has that same heart, just trying one child at a time, but together we've been really combining our curriculums to help the kids at Turkey Creek get focused. So these are, again, our 8th graders. They're the leaders of the school. How they act influences the rest of the kids at the school, and obviously getting them now prepared is a perfect time for going into high school. And then Emmanuel Lutheran, our other school partner, Dr. Davis, our principal here, will get everyone introduced. She has been in with us in the religion classes where our Character GPS program is residing, because our program is based on biblical principles. And so we have the same heart of trying, again, to minister to these kids and get them back on track. So what we're trying to do is help kids that are struggling. And when kids struggle, when their needs aren't met, we see negative behaviors. Bullying, cheating, stealing, fights and violence, apathy to learning, disrespect of authority, disrespect of each other, addictions, all sorts of things, lying. But the bottom line is low self-esteem. So our principals here, Jacqueline Silvano is also here with us, and we're going to be talking about their schools. But they're dealing with these behaviors on a daily basis, and we're here as partners to help them so that our kids can overcome this and get to the root, which is their needs. If we can help them get their needs met, these behaviors go away. So just, in fact, yesterday we were at Emmanuel Lutheran, and we were at our highest level, Adventure 7, Teams Love Collaboration. And so the kids were actually creating ad campaigns against these different negative behaviors. So this was our team for bullying. So they came up with an ad campaign, a slogan, and stop and starts, and we captured these and everything. So again, it's a way for the kids to own that they can make a difference. They can influence their peers, but also practice the skill of synergy. That collaboration is not just getting together. Collaboration is putting your ideas together, your hearts together, listening to each other, building on each other's ideas. It's really quite an advanced skill, and it's something our kids need to learn how to do so that they can then give it, of course, to others as well. So it was a lot of fun yesterday with all the different skits that they came up with their ad campaigns. So we've had the pleasure of working with the Department of Juvenile Justice now since 2016. And you know how sometimes you just do what you think's right, and you're convicted to that, the Spirit's leading you. Well, out of the blue during the pandemic, we felt that kids needed human contact. Being stuck at home, isolated, was not good for their mental health and their development. So as soon as we got the okay, we opened up our classes again, made sure everything was clean and sanitary, right? But we got back in the classroom with our kids so that we could, again, minister to them one-on-one in real time with real relationships. And out of the blue, we got this award from the Department of Juvenile Justice, the Community Heartbeat Award. So, you know, sometimes you just do the right thing and people recognize that you're doing something different that other people maybe are still fearful to do. So at Character GPS, I think you guys all know we're really not fear-driven. We're eager to try all sorts of new things, and our principals know that if we see an opportunity, we're going to partner right with them to try something new, and we'll be sharing with some of those things here. Also, in our spare time, the Department of Juvenile Justice has been wanting us to present what we've been learning over these last 8 years of our partnership with them. So we've been a speaker at their annual DJJ Restoring Hope Conference. And so, again, we've been able to share what we're learning, what's working with the kids, how can we help our kids get on track. So we've had the pleasure of doing that. So we just finished that on Tuesday. So it's been quite a week with the conference, classes, and then being with you here. So the good news is I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength, right? So we have that pleasure. And then we've added on now another opportunity here. Again, realizing that our kids are our future, that we saw the kids that are in detention centers are struggling, right? And so they have been found to have done something that not appropriate, right? They've been humbled. They realize they made a mistake. And we found out they're really hungry. They want to know, how can I get back on track? So we met with Captain Bobby Russell at the Polk County Juvenile Detention Center under Grady Judd, and they said, we would love to have your program if you could come in and minister to our kids. They're a faith-based approach, so we can pray with the kids. We can help restore hope in the kids, because many of them, they feel that it's hopeless. They've messed up. My life's over. And we're saying, no. Your God is a God of second chances. But you've got to repent. You've got to change your ways, and we can teach you what to do. So these kids come to our class in shackles, but they are wide open. They are hungry to learn what it takes to be successful. And so this last Saturday, so we added this on. We already had a full schedule, so what do you do Saturday? so we're going Saturdays to the detention center. But this last Saturday, we were coming in, and a deputy was coming out, and he said, "Are you a church group?" And we said, "Well, no, but we're faith-based life and leadership." He said, "Well, you've got 18 boys lined up with their Bibles waiting for you." And we were over half an hour early. So, these kids were just eager to learn. Now, of course, we do sweeten the pot. We bring them pizza. They get one slice of pizza. But, that's a good incentive, right? But they really are. They really want to ask questions. They want to understand. And when we pray with them, at the end of the prayer, they all say, "Amen." It's like, I think we're really reaching the heart here. And they create action plans of how they're going to change their lives so that when they leave the detention center, they're not going to go back out and make the same mistakes. That's the opportunity. And we tell them, as Bobby Russell does as well, it says, you've got to change your friends, right? Because they're not really your friends. You got to find new people that you're going to hang with and you're going to work with that are heading in the right direction. So this has just been really a pleasure and a privilege for Debbie and I to get to work with the detention center and a wonderful staff that Captain Russell has. So we So we thought maybe if we could come here and pick Captain Russell's brain a little bit about what is going on with kids, what are they getting caught for, what are the dynamics that he could maybe give us some greater insight for the kids that are going through detention, and again, how we can pray for them as well. So, Bobby, I lined up a few questions, okay? So you ready? Okay.
I'm a little cheat sheet.
Now, again, a lot of our partners here, they want to just better understand what are kids getting in trouble, what's causing them lately to be in detention center, what are the crimes that they're committing?
First off, good afternoon, everyone. I'm pleased to be here. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Kane, for your work.
Is it green? It's green. Let me switch. Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, I'd like to thank Mr. and Mrs. Kane for your work coming into our facility to work with our the youth that we have housed at our facility. So, although the kids are housed at the Polk County Sheriff's Office Detention Center, they're still under the Department of Juvenile Justice guidelines. So, we have to abide by their guidelines. So, I was able to reach out to the acting chief. So he provided me with some statistics.
Okay.
So the most common crimes that are being committed by the youth are assault and battery, aggravated assault and battery, burglary, and also non-violation of probation, which means like curfew violations, not attending school.
Right. Now, we also noticed that some of the kids are being caught with threats that they're doing online. So, again, the sheriff's office is monitoring some of the social media and being proactive in catching kids that maybe they think they're kidding, they don't realize, but these threats are real. And obviously we have to stop that kind of behavior.
Yes, sir.
So, all right, so we're ready. That was a great answer. Okay, so that's some latest statistics right off the wire. The second, what crimes have increased in the last few years that you've noticed?
Well, in addition to, I guess, I don't know, well, bullying has been a big issue with schools, but assaults and batteries have increased per CJ has increased by 22% since 2023.
Okay, so again, the violence that's coming out of bullying, we're noticing is picking up, and that's why our program is an anti-bullying program, and we'll be talking more about that. Okay, so again, with the youth, the crimes that they've committed, what is the concern about that we could help them overcome that behavior, the recidivism? How can we reduce their chances of coming back to the detention center?
Well, I believe, as you mentioned before, disassociating themselves, their friends that are negative influences when they're not. In some way, trying to get them to a better mindset, just thinking that there is hope for them. They don't, it's because they're incarcerated. They still have a chance to become productive members of society. So. Character GPS, along with other programs that we have, I think it's working great.
Thank you. And we've realized that hope factor is so important. When the kids don't seem to have hope, it's just like they're dead. We can't get them to respond. But when the kids start to feel there's hope, that they can learn to do something, that gives them the belief that they can be rehabilitated. So again, your invitation to Character GPS. What have you seen so far? Maybe some feedback you've gotten from the staff or anything of what we're trying to accomplish with kids.
The staff has been very receptive. They understand the goal that you're trying to get these kids to have a better mindset. Also provide them with character building skills so that they don't do the same. Have the same conduct which caused them to be incarcerated. So it's been received very well, not only by our staff members, but by our upper staff, especially our sheriff judge. He's very supportive. That's
great. Well, it's an honor to be on your team working with you. So the last thing then is looking again from a faith-based standpoint. That's what really attracted us, because we believe in the situation these kids are in, they need to have hope. They need to believe they can be forgiven, because they're often very hard on themselves. So when we can pray and minister and tell them that God is real and God's listening to their prayers and God has still a great plan for their lives, we see them perk up. We see the life kind of come back into their bodies. And it gives us, again, a feel that it's really, wow, we're making a difference here. So what could we do going forward? We're going to obviously keep coming on Saturdays, but what is the real need beyond just our class that you see for these kids if we're going to keep them from coming back again into the detention center?
That's a good question. I think just providing with hope, with letting them know that the mistakes that they made in the past, they don't have to continue making those mistakes in the future.
Wow.
So I think that's very powerful, and we really appreciate your efforts.
Well, in talking with your staff, Bobby, and talking with some of the partners there, like Nick Ketterman working for Youth for Christ, we've kind of felt the Lord put it in our heart that we love working with the kids at the detention center, but when they leave, what's the support system when they leave, so that they're not tempted to go back to the same relationships or the same situations? So it's been kind of put on our heart that mentoring, which we've been doing at some of our other schools, is really needed for these kids, because they're probably not getting the kind of coaching at home or the leadership that they need. And so we actually applied for a grant with the Department of Juvenile Justice to try to help, that we're going to try to offer to the kids that leave the detention center that have been in our classes, that we're going to invite them to what we call a character GPS club. And we're going to meet with them once a week, and we're going to try to get established at some of the churches, kind of strategically in the area so the kids can come. And we're going to try to continue the GPS learning. Okay, so you learn these principles, but are you applying it? How is it working? What can we do to build that kind of camaraderie of this mentoring club, much like we did way back at Stewart, where the kids, to go to the GPS club, they have to improve their grades, their attendance, or their discipline, right? Like not being suspended. And it was so amazing as we got closer to the quarterly club meetings, the kids would check in with each other. Hey, how you doing on your grades? Oh, well, you got it. Hey, you got 3 weeks to go. You got to get that grade up. Hey, you got to get your. They were encouraging each other, and we're wondering if maybe this is what we could do to help some of the kids that are leaving the detention center, is give them another support system. With with what you guys are trying to do, and you partner and provide that consistent environment for them, that we can extend the chance that they can change their habits and change their behaviors so that they won't end up back with you. How does that sound?
Hey, that sounds great. That sounds great. So, before I start, I'd just like to throw some stats. I'll tell you, this is from DJJ. In the year 2023, reports indicated that there were over 3,300 juvenile intake arrests in Circuit 10. Circuit 10 incorporates Polk County, Hardee, and Highlands County. And of those arrests, 70% were male demographics, 30% females, 47% black, 33% white, and 20% were Hispanic.
Wow.
So it's across all demographics, all racial,
It's just in our culture, society.
Right. So the work that you're doing has been very receptive. Our sheriff in Polk County, I know, he's famous about, he loves putting people in jail, but he also supports any program to help to try to rehabilitate. Rehabilitative program, so we really appreciate it.
Well, we just want to say again, it's a privilege and a pleasure to partner with you, Bobby. We're looking forward to this continuing to grow. How about a hand for Bobby here? So Bobby, we have a character GPS. Yeah, that's going to be okay. Award for you here, so that you can proudly place that in your office and know that we are with you all the way, okay?
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, get a picture here with Miss Debbie. And you can tell I look up to Captain Bobby. Thanks so much. So that's one piece of the puzzle, and we're trying to get involved in how we can then continue to help in that area. But we have another wonderful partner who has been with us for quite some time, talking about the other challenges that kids are facing. And so we want to introduce our dear friend Ellen. Ellen, come on up here. I just want to say with Ellen really quick, I have never met anyone with so much energy and so much passion. The Holy Spirit is just oozing out of her. She's got so much energy. She goes everywhere where there's a discussion about kids and drugs. And so she really stays up on the information, the latest, greatest. So she's going to give us a quick update here on what the kids are facing with drugs here. So Ellen, take it away. Thank you so much for coming.
Are you going to do the clicker? And which one's going forward?
The right one.
Okay. Okay. Well, hello to all of you, and thank you so much for coming today. Can you hear me? Is this okay? Because I know the microphone's a little funky about where it is. Thank you so much, Jeff, for that introduction. The reason I'm so passionate is because I have a daughter in recovery. She started using alcohol and drugs in high school, and it's a very rough road. It's one day at a time. In fact, she's getting ready to go back to a residential program, hopefully as soon as possible. So I know what it's like. And in her case, her highest risk factor was mental illness. She has bipolar disorder. So the relationship between mental health and drugs is huge. And a lot of people who have mental illness, especially untreated, they have problems with substance abuse, and the other way around. Substance abuse leads to mental illness. So that's why I've been involved with the Hillsborough County Anti-Drug Alliance for almost, I can't believe it's been this long, 25 years. So, and one of my biggest interests is policy, and because you can reach out to individuals and groups, parents, students, and educate them, but with policy change, you can make a huge difference. So I'm going to mention policy in this presentation. Oh. I knew I'd do that. Why don't you click it for me? Okay. So Delta 8 THC, and I did make a presentation a couple years ago to some of you in this group, but I just want to quickly go through it again because guess what? It is still a problem. So what is Delta 8? I learned about this. I had no idea what Delta 8 was. Is it an airlines, a sorority? I don't know. So, but it's a drug, and it's synthesized from hemp. I mean, who would have thought? I always thought hemp, when it was legalized in the United States in 2018, I thought it was like purses, belts, shoes, building materials. But these chemists figured out a way to take CBD, add chemicals to it, heat it up, and they made THC out of it. And it's a loophole. So it's a loophole in federal law. Now it is sold in gas stations, convenience stores, smoke shops, CBD shops, pretty much everywhere. All they have to do is get a license that's not very expensive from the state, and they can sell it. It produces intoxicating effects very similar to marijuana, Delta 9 THC. The difference between Delta 8 and Delta 9 is like one bond. It shows up on the drug test as marijuana, as THC. There's very little difference. So they figured out a way to make kind of a synthetic THC from hemp. There's very little oversight. Most hemp extracts sold as Delta 8 are not pure, so they don't have the amount of Delta 8 that's supposed to in the label, and they have pesticides, heavy metals, so it's really very dangerous. Other isomers are Delta 10, THCO. There's actually 20 that we come up with now. Next. What does it look like? Well, what do you think about this? Does this look like something that a senior citizen would want to purchase? No. It is very much targeting our children and young adults. So we have, Tittles is actually something I purchased in Temple Terrace, and I couldn't believe it because I thought, oh, we're not going to have these products here. But 500 milligrams of THC in these gummies in one small package. And then we have cake vapes in chunks with a little monkey on front. That's another type of a vape. And the vapes have 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams of THC in the vape product. So they're incredibly high in THC, fruit flavors, and bright colors. And we have edibles, such as candies, vape products, flour, oils, capsules, beverages, chips, inhalers, and cereals. Pretty much everything you can think of. This industry is going to go as far as it can until we stop them. This is one of the things that really got me going and why I got so interested in this. I have to get a message out to parents, teachers, and everyone else, legislators. On the top is original Skittles, child candy, sugar, right? The bottom one looks exactly the same. The packaging, the candy itself, inside it looks exactly the same, but it has 250 milligrams of this Delta 8 THC. And it doesn't even have the word THC. So it's very misleading for adults. But for children, any child that saw this laying on a kitchen counter would eat the whole package. And this had 250 milligrams of THC. Just for a reference, back in like 60s and 70s, one joint had about 10 milligrams of THC. These are the products I'm seeing lately. I bought all of these within the last 6 months. And by the way, I just use them as samples to show people. I have not tried any of these, and I don't suggest it either. But this is how outrageous, like I said, that they're heading in this direction of very high THC and also trying to market to children. That trap trees up in the corner, in the left corner, it's raspberry slushy flavor. 1,000 milligrams of Delta 8 and Delta 9, all made from hemp, and it's in one gummy. That's what they sell as individual. Then we have HHCP. Like I said, it reminds me of kind of K2 and Spice back in the day where the chemists keep coming up with new products. But this is another one, very much like Delta-9 THC from marijuana. 100 milligrams of THC in each rainbow gummy worm. And again, this is not targeted to adults. It's targeted towards children. And then on the right-hand side, we have demon gummies. Very attractive. That's why I bought this one. I thought, oh my gosh, any young adult or child would be attracted to this packaging. 7,000 milligrams in the package, 350 per piece. In the middle, this is another thing I'm seeing now. They're mixing. So not only does it have THC, they have mushrooms, psychedelic mushrooms added. And I'm seeing the bottom one is a shot. You just drink it as a shot. It has kratom mixed with Delta-8. So I'm seeing other drugs mixed in. And you talk about an experiment on our children and whoever uses this. We don't even know what these Delta products do to your body, and now they're mixing other drugs in. Okay, so I just wanted to show you what happened here right in Hillsborough County at one of the home shows at the fairgrounds. Well, a parent let me know that his child got a hold of these Fruit Loops from a vendor table. It was a hemp vendor table. And they had no idea. The parents, the kid had his goodie bag and he was collecting pens and various things, and he got this Fruit Loops. He ate it on the way home. They live in Bradenton. By the time he got home, he was just like turning bright red. His pulse was up. He could barely breathe. They brought him to the emergency room. He ended up at All Children's Hospital in the ICU. And at first they had no idea what was wrong with him. They tested his blood and he had THC in it. And they had social workers asking the parents, like, do you all use marijuana? And because they were trying to figure out how this child got a hold of it. But they remembered they went to this home show and found this bag. And you can see right here it says 600 milligrams Delta-8 THC. They didn't know because, it looks just like children's cereal. And that was what was at the home show. All those cereals, Trix, Captain Crunch, they all look like children's cereal with THC. So what does the FDA say? They say it has serious health effects. So the government's aware of this, but they haven't stopped it yet. And this is one of my favorite resources, the Florida Poison Control Center. They're tracking these products over the years. And you can see how from 2016 to 2023, how far they have jumped up with poisonings of our adults and children. And so what's this next step? We've got to do something at the state level. We have to get a bill passed that will restrict these products and help keep our kids safe. Marijuana. That's all on that one. All right, so marijuana has been around for a long time, but it's not the same drug. It's not your daddy's marijuana, okay? So this is what it looks like now. It's not like a rolled joint. I mean, that exists, but all of these products exist. Again, very attractive to our children. And this tells the story. The THC level has gone up from about 4% in 95 to the DEA confiscation 2021 was 15%. And in dispensaries in Colorado, you can get 35% THC in flower and 99% THC in the crystallized marijuana. Why do we care about this? Because it is affecting our children's developing brain. It causes brain changes, IQ loss, mental illness. It can actually cause schizophrenia and mental illness. Next. And you may have heard some ads when they were trying to pass recreational marijuana Amendment 3, that if you legalize it, fewer kids will get their hands on it and the use will go down. These are the top 10 states in youth use of marijuana, and 9 of them are legal states, so that was a lie. Amendment 3 was rejected. I am still like over the moon excited about this. The other side, the Yes on 3, spent $150 million to try to get it passed. Governor DeSantis in the vote no raised about $30 million, which was a miracle. But they were able to beat them even though they were outspent 5-1. So, and these are some resources if you're interested, and you all can get a copy of this PowerPoint. Sorry about the mic. Thank you so much.
And Ellen, we want to thank you again for being such a great partner and a champion for our Okay, so again, we continue to be challenged with our kids. But again, there is hope. Let's see if we can get here. Okay. So our next speaker here, our dear friend, Pastor Phil, help the kids so give a hand, Pastor Phil Ressler.
Thanks, Jeff. Yeah, you can see, these are my two boys, twin boys, Thomas and Jacob, that are circled there in red. We moved here in February, at the beginning of the year, from New Jersey. And I was shortly after I arrived, Jeff contacted me about potentially bringing character GPS to Emmanuel. And wasn't quite sure what it was all about at the time. And one of the invitations that he gave to me, my boys were going from 8th grade, so they're going from middle school into high school. So he invited us to come and check it out, one of the summer camps for the incoming high school students. And let me tell you something about my boys. They did not like school. Actually, that is putting it lightly. They hated school. I don't even know if that actually characterizes it. They loathed school. I remember taking my one son to even preschool, and it wasn't just the first day of school, but it was every day of school that I would leave them in the classroom. And mind you, it was the church preschool, so it's the church I worked as pastor. So I was just going down the hall. I'd drop him off at the classroom, and he would just be crying and screaming and kicking. He just did not like school. And that was just the beginning. All throughout school, he struggled. Both of my boys struggled with reading. They were in special ed classes. We went to doctors, neurologists. We had them in counseling, trying to figure out what exactly was going on. Neither of them excelled in school at all. And then their world kind of got changed upside down. A couple of years ago, they lost their mom. And then I became a single dad trying to figure all this out with these boys that did not like school. Last year, I was remarried. And to make a new start, to begin a new life, we all moved from New Jersey here to Florida. And as I said, they got involved in the summer camp last summer. And, they did not want to go. But I did notice a change. Even though they weren't excited about going at the end of the week, they didn't go kicking and screaming like they did the first day of the camp. They started talking about goals that they had, and I started to see a different attitude that they had towards school and a lot of different things. This last quarter, so they started Durant High School this fall, and my straight A's. It was the very first time he had ever got straight A's. And he was talking to his grandmother, who lives in New Jersey still, and he was on the phone with her, and one of the things that she was telling him how proud she was of him, and he comes out and says, "Well, that was one of my goals." And the thing was that neither of these boys, neither of them talked about having goals before coming to Character GPS. Their motivation, their ambition, other than maybe video games, was pretty much nil. But we've definitely seen a change in their attitude, especially towards school. We're filling out currently electives for their upcoming year. And, my son Thomas, he's talking about 3D design and art. And my other son Jacob, he plays the drums. He plays at our church and is talking about culinary classes. So I'm just thrilled with how they have come along. And there's a lot of different things that went into that, but Character GPS played a big part of that. We also then started Character GPS with our middle school students, our 7th and 8th grade students at Emmanuel this past year. And we were excited to do that every Thursday. We have Character GPS as part of our religion curriculum. I teach on Mondays. We have our associate pastor who teaches on Tuesday. And then we have our principal, Joni, who teaches on Friday. Jeff and Debbie teach on. One of the things that a big part of Character GPS with parents, and I didn't realize how was. I thought I'd just send my kids to the camp and a little bit about what happened and then take them the next day. But then I'm getting these emails from Jeff about what they had, what they were doing, and the boys were supposed to be teaching us what they learned. I was like, wow, there's a lot more involved here than I expected as a parent, which was wonderful. But what we were finding at Emmanuel was that our parents were not all of our parents were as responsive as I might have been, and some other parents that I worked with in the program. And there are lots of different reasons for that. Sometimes you have a single mom who's working, and she's just overwhelmed with so many different tasks that she's not able to be as involved with that. So what we did at Emmanuel is implemented a mentoring program where we have members of the church and community that come in on Tuesdays and Friday and meet with the kids and go through the things that they are learning. We've got some of our mentors here today, so I thought maybe if you are a mentor at Emmanuel, if you want to stand up, that'd be great just to recognize you. And yeah, I think a big it's a great thing. One of the things that as a church you always are at a church and school. A lot of times what we find within our denomination at least is there's a school that's over here. Even though you're in the same building, there's a school over here and there's a church over here, and the two don't really have much to do with each other. But this is one of the great ways and the ministry of the church with the that are interacting with the students, and the students interacting with many of our members.
How about a hand for Pastor Phil? Pastor Phil, we want to thank you for being a great partner, and get a picture here with Miss Debbie. Step over here. There we go. All right. Thank you so much. And again, the partners that we have, we're going to be again introducing you to. It's just a thrill for us to have people who realize that if we work together, as much as what we teach, two are better than one, right? Ecclesiastes 4:9, that we can accomplish so much more. So when we realized that these kids were struggling, they weren't getting much support at home, I went to our principal and I said, Joni, we have a mentoring program. Let's see if we can use that to get these kids moving more. We're not quite seeing the progress we'd like to see. We're not quite getting the test scores that we're used to seeing. And so we identified, she said, well, hey, if you got a program, I'm all for it. She's an idealist like we are. We're willing to try new things, right? But the challenge was we had to get 30 mentors because we had 30 kids. And so when I approached Phil about that, Phil's a faith-filled man, but for the women, he said, we probably get the women's side, but we're not going to get enough men. That's just not happening, right? And I said, well, if it's the Holy Spirit's plan, we're going to do it. And so, to his credit, he said, okay, we'll give it a try. And I went to the head of the elders, come and pitched the idea to him. And at first he was not so sure that was going to work either. But, he said, well, maybe we can make it happen. So we had mentor training sessions, okay? And some of our mentors know, we say, hey, just come, check it out, But, of course, once you come to a GPS mentor training session, you're hooked. You see how important it is. You can't say no. So we actually, by part of our church members, we reach that goal. Every single student has a mentor, and we've been meeting. So we just immediately could see the boost in our kids' confidence, self-esteem, and the skill to be mentored. It's important to know how to be mentored, to be coachable. So this program has just been a wonderful success, and thanks again to Joni for supporting trying something new. We said we had a process that worked, but she still had to have faith in us, so that's a great thing. So basically, we keep it very simple. There's just 5 steps. You schedule it, you check in with your mentee when you meet, you review. We have the testing, so we have a little structure, help them prepare for the test. Well, hey, I'll meet with my mentor if they can get me a better test score. That's kind of motivation, right? And then they turn in their observations, and then we get to see, okay, they're going to say, I'm going to be there for your GPS graduation. The kids start to see, this isn't just some nice person. Someone is invested in me. I must be priceless for someone to take their time and meet and commit and to be all the way through the journey. And so, again, our mentors are just having a huge impact on our kids here in just this one semester. Now, Joni knows we have a lot of work to do at the school, and we're building the school up, but each of these steps is moving us in the right direction. So, again, the definition of mentoring is that one-on-one relationship where kids start to feel that they're special. They have someone to talk to, someone they can confide in, and we've just seen some great connections. So our mentoring commitment, we said, now you got to give that encouragement. You got to help them believe, your mentee, that they can do it, right? That's one of our principles, right? You got to lift up their self-esteem, because that's the root of a lot of this, and help them apply the learning with their great life experience. We've just seen some wonderful examples where we match kids up and they had some engineering interests, and they find a mentor who has engineering background, and all of a sudden they're just talking the same language. And we've seen some of the kids very, just shy introverts just starting to blossom because they're realizing that they can get to this future we've been talking about. So if, again, to understand their challenges, to believe in them, is just this process of healing. And all our kids have had some trauma, and they're all needing some healing. Mentoring is a great way to do that. So again, the thanks to our mentors for making the commitment, taking the time, and we're hoping they're going to and maybe invite our kids to Christmas Eve service, right? We'll give it a chance to get some of our kids to church here. So often we ask, what's wrong when we see a kid misbehaving? We say, what's wrong with that kid? And our partners over here, they understand that it's not what's wrong with the kid, even though that might be things that we are observing. A lot of our staff are focused on many things, and teaching is a very challenging job, but we've got test scores that we have to reach, a lot of different things, and not always having the experience to be able to do this or the time to work with the kids one-on-one. So what we really try to do from a trauma-informed care approach is to say, not what's wrong with this child, what's happened to this child. So that's why we need then to get a little more understanding. What's going on at home? So we'll call the parents and talk to them and try to understand the dynamics here so that we can then come back to our teacher partners and say, hey, this is what's going on. How can we work together to see if we can help this child overcome some of the trauma that they've had? But as long as that trauma is present and they're not moving forward, they're going to feel stuck. And so it's important to diagnose, and that's why every child's situation is unique. So we kind of have to do a little work to look in their files, understand what's happened to them. When you understand the child, you've got a key now to find a solution path. And that's what we did with Pastor Phil here. His 2 boys, they're great kids, but they were stuck. And so when we could understand what was going on, they did a Myers-Briggs personality test to find out what their talents are, and they had different talents. And every day, I said, Phil, we got 4 days to do this. I called him and his wife. We talked each day to see what we were observing, what could we then work together, because, again, you parents are the number one educator of your kids. So we need to partner with them. But as we talked through each day, we were starting to get to some of the issues for Jacob and for Thomas. And as we went through those 4 days and worked it together, you saw the picture. These kids were smiling. They were not smiling on the first day of camp. They might as well have been in the shackles, like our detention center. I think and we didn't have pizza for them at that time. Anyways, but they worked through it. They learned it. With the support of their parents, we worked together, and to see that kind of transformation, we could see the potential in them. God's given us just that insight to see the possibilities in these kids, but we have to get the kids to start to believe it and start to make some of the changes that allows them to get to their future. So we got to get past the trauma and get them starting to believe then that they have a greater life ahead. And so we have to we teach them how their brains work. You can't let the cerebellum, where your primitive, instincts of fight or flight, your emotions control you. You've got to calm your emotions down, and you got to kick into the frontal lobe. That's where you think. But again, as we all know, our frontal lobe isn't fully developed until 25 years old. So we always have to ask the kids, anyone 25, and a few of the kids will put their hands up anyways, right? But they begin to realize they need to be coachable. They need these mentors, and they need to listen to their parents more, and they need to respect their teachers and their pastors. If we all work together, we can help them change the way that they're thinking and behaving. So we use this analogy of the weather vane versus the compass, because we know the compass always points north, right? If you're lost, you do that. And, of course, in our program, when we're doing our faith-based version, the compass is the Bible, right? God's given you the owner's manual. You didn't come out of the womb with it because you've got the Bible to use. So we don't want kids to be like a weather vane where it points whether the wind's blowing, like their emotions. I feel good, I feel bad, right? So often we hear from our kids, I don't feel like doing my homework, right? Guys, you ever heard from some of your peers? I don't feel like doing my chores. I don't feel like maybe going to school, right? But we don't do what we feel like. We do the right thing. We follow the principles. Or the excuse, everyone else is doing it, right? We look at our kids in here. They've heard that all, right? But we ask them, is that really a good excuse? And they say, no, it's not, right? They start to take on this leadership mentality is, I'm going to do the right thing even if it's not popular, right? So we don't want to live a sad life where a lot of our kids are focused on themselves, so they have disappointments. We're the richest country in the world. We have the most disappointed people in the world. We want to find guidance. So GPS can stand for God's principles of success. If you're willing to learn the way God designed you to work, you're going to have a lot of success. So our kids start to take on a way of rethinking what trauma does. So just very quickly, trauma often causes kids to believe false things. I'm worthless. In our program, we translate that. No, that's the opposite. You are priceless, right? They think they're broken. Nah, well, we're all broken to a certain extent, but you're capable. You can do it, right? I can't be responsible, right? Kind of cop out, okay? But we say, no, you can make good choices. You say, well, I'm not smart. They compare themselves to other people. No, you can learn how to learn. We teach them how their brains learn. So they now are free. They can be a rocket scientist if they want to, right? Once they know the secret to learning, they say, well, I'm not talented. No, everyone is given God-given talents, but you have to develop those talents. They say, well, I don't fit in. Well, you're not supposed to fit in. You're a leader, right? Stop trying to be in the peer group. Instead, do the right thing, and people will start following you. And this is a game changer for our kids. All that pressure of trying to fit in, they now know, I'm not trying to fit in. In fact, that probably is part of the problem, right? I'm going to do the right thing and show the others that they can then follow me. And so as we work with our middle school principals and teachers, I shared this with Jackie the first time we met. She's very busy, like all our principals are, but I got her attention. And she said, well, I think we need a program like that. So again, she was willing just to take that on faith. Of course, she called Beretta just to kind of check in on the program. But we were able to help them realize you're not alone. You've got a family. You've got teams. So you need to think in a whole new way than what you've been doing before. They think they're all on their own. They got to figure out themselves. No, you've got resources. You've got coaches, right? You got to be coachable, right? This is the opportunity. So our 7 toolkits are like stepping stones. They're sequence in skill building. But as much as this picture might tell kind of part of the story of what we do and how we can do it in 4 days during the summer camp, we actually think of it more in a linear way. Here's today. We ask kids, can you change your past? Can you change your past, kids? What can you change? The future, right? We want to get to your great future. It's a straight line. You get focused. But we're human, so what happens? We get distracted, right? So we help them overcome the distraction so they can pursue their great life. So our program is like if these are 2 sides of a river, you've got a strong current of our culture. You can't swim across it as hard as you try. You need stepping stones to rise above. So our toolkits for proactive responsibility, making good choices, CD, not giving up, pushing through, TD, learning your talents, V, having a vision, but especially self-management, your 3 T's, managing your time, your temptation, and your treasure. They've got it, right? This is where these days kids get stuck anywhere along the line, but right now it's the 3 T's, the temptation management is huge, as Ellen was sharing. There's so many things, but then they can build healthy relationships, MR, meaningful relationships, and then highest level teams love collaboration. Get to the other side. They can get to their future. And we see the transformation in their confidence and their belief in their life. And to see Thomas and Jacob, it was just, again, we just love seeing those success stories happen. And it happens quite frequently when we got, again, great partners at school and at home with parents working together. But in 3T, we try to use some very technical training. So here's a quick technical training material. All right, so we try to have fun with the kids. But the amazing thing is common sense is still often not common practice, right? Their parent and using credit cards, even when it was free, it's just the mind, right? So we're helping our kids to break free, maybe generational beliefs that they can now take ownership of their lives. One of the things that we know how deadly this is to get mixed in, and even though they're sharing drugs that have fentanyl in them, police can testify that ends the mind. I mean, you don't take to the other side, right? So we have given kids the evidence of what it does to your brains, why you don't need it because you have natural chemicals in your brain. So then we give them the proactive opportunity to say, would you like to sign a pledge to live drug and alcohol free? Since you're a minor, you're not supposed to be doing this anyways, but sign the pledge so that when someone tempts you, you've already made the decision. I'm not doing it. It makes it so much easier to say no. And so we've been now offering this to our kids in our program, and it's amazing. For just a character GPS coin, not available in any store, they will sign, and they really, I can see that they feel that they made a good decision, right? And we continue to reinforce that. So the more we can set our kids up for, we're empowering them then to move towards a great future. So again, our partners at Victory School, where's Colleen? And hey, we got kids over here working on that as well. So at our graduation, all this comes together, and the kids realize, I'm prepared for the future. I don't have to be afraid of it. I'm excited. I'm ready. I'm not thinking about the goals for my life. So I gotta move here. For the awards. Key is that the kids make an understanding of who they are. They learn themselves. And once they have that awareness, now they're empowered to do great things. So we have a high school, an elementary, middle school version of the program. When we get kids soon, the prevention, getting them early, they're more moldable. When we get them to high school, they already know, right? So we have the semester classes, which were with our intensive, and we have also mini camps that we do. Often we'll go into a fall and we'll start to introduce this. And if the kids start to introducing more of the program. So with this, again, we've done a journey now. This is our 13th year of doing we took the program up then to North Carolina.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky, it's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Yes, it's Superman. Strange visitor from another planet who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. Superman, who can change the course of mighty rivers.
So with that vision in mind, we believe that So what does that look like? Our GPS for kids very quickly has had the healing for kids, helps equip them to make good decisions. A lot of the things we've kind of been sharing, it allows them to have the ability to persevere. Again, this is the feedback we get from parents, from teachers, and from the kids themselves. All these things allow them to build a process for success. And the end result is we hear from parents, the kids are happier, they're healthy, they're productive citizens. We love to have our kids coming out and ready to contribute to this world to make a difference. And that's what our kids are thinking about, right? We get feedback. Oh, I don't have time. To say that we're making a difference in this world. So you have your tables. If you put a card, there should be a stack at your table here. Just put your name on it. And there's some things we could use your help on. So again, part of the thing, we need mentors, we need bookkeepers, videographers, we need to get the word out with more marketing, we need heroes to come inspire kids, and of course financial donations. So I'd like to ask my
you do talk. Yeah. Pause and the administrator, all of you for surviving. A little bit about me. I am an attorney. I help victims of accident and injuries. Years ago, I'm drawn to helping people, and I got involved in a couple businesses, and so I met Jeff through another organization. One of, and I think some of you in the room could really appreciate this. while they were existing downtown. Three things: downtown remodeling, for doctors and lawyers. Very difficult. Three things that all those people downtown don't want. They don't want to see you, hear you, and they don't want to smell you. Okay? It's stress. It's high stress. Not quite like, detention and law enforcement work. But anyway, there's a lot of strife, contention, and everything. Oh, and then I forgot to tell you, every job you start, these are businesses, multi-million, billion-dollar businesses. They're on a tight timeline. And every business, every time we would start, they would start. It was, they were behind. So anyway, a lot of conflict. And when I met Jeff, I realized, something that he helped was with the processes. Now we're talking about educations, no, it was goals that got, that we were looking at. But I've always struggled with the processes. And that's what Jeff was there to do, the processes that get you to the goals. And kids, I want you to realize that it's your processes and habits. You need to have a goal, but I recognized quickly that with all the strife going on in businesses, Jeff had these processes that help. So I hired him many years ago before he started GPS, and to come in and help with these processes. And I saw immediately there were things that I had to learn the hard way. I grew up in a Baptist and Jewish community, okay, so I did learn, this is where I learned my processes from and what it was like to do good. I learned from my mentors, from the pastors and from the rabbis and those community leaders. I had mentors, but it wasn't broken down quite like what Jeff was doing. And I'm learning, I'm seeing stuff that I had to learn the hard way. I'm an attorney, I'm a business owner. I have 100 people that work for me. And I'm still going, wow, Jeff, this is really great stuff you're doing. And I saw how my people flourish with these processes when you're in a conflict. If someone's bullying you, whether it's a client, your boss, or your subcontractor, or our competition, how to handle the conflict. And these processes and everything, even in my sports, what does it take to be great in any sport for any of you athletes in here? It's your processes. You got to have a goal, but you're not going to get any processes and good habits. So anyway, I saw Jeff was doing all that, and I went, okay, wow, this is great. And we worked together for years, both businesses, and I was very grateful for that. So then when I saw Jeff was going to do this for kids, I was game on, because I remembered, I was like, wow, I would have really loved to have learned all of this when I was a kid. And also I was in track, and my daughter was in track, and I was seeing all these troubled kids, and I'm thinking, this is a win-win. So I jumped on board and started helping. And then one more thing is I've been blessed with two beautiful daughters, and one of them, Ariel, went through Jeff's program. So now I've seen him in the secular world, and what he's doing is bringing great, bringing a lot of good results with grown-ups. Now I'm getting to see what he's doing with the kids, okay? And it's still actually teaching me on how I can be a better person with my processes. And remember that, young people in here, and it's a reminder to all of us old people, know, you constantly have to be surrounding yourself with good people, but you also have to be constantly trying to improve. And what does it take for me to be a good person? I can't change the people around me. I can have a little bit of an influence. So I'm up here to ask today is, I wanted to let you know, not only have I known them a long time in the secular world, also then in helping with the kids. So I joined a board, and I'm on a lot of other boards, by the way, but I was driven as soon as Jeff and Debbie asked me, I said yes. And then the third thing is I do donate and I do help. And, one thing, I'm with the In God We Trust Foundation, and I know today, in addition to my table, Jeff, In God We Trust is donating $20,000, $500 today. So, yeah. Anyway, Thank you, Debbie. Okay. So, yeah, put that in the bank right away. So I just up here to stand. I can validate the program, and I also donate myself. And there's a couple things that, how can you help? Not only if you can give anything today, but it's more of the people that may be able to help, and to tell them about this program, because we need things like this. Our kids are really struggling for this. If Hillsborough High School and see the track kids, I'm going to say probably 1 in 10 of them don't even know where they're sleeping that night. And a lot of these other schools, it's pretty rough out there. A lot of us here are blessed. I'm very blessed. And my children were blessed. They have me and my wonderful wife and my friends. I'm blessed to have good friends, and I surround myself. I have four, I could count, 4 very good friends here that I think highly of, and I know they're blessed. And I'm sure I'm looking around, and I'm sure a lot of you are blessed. So anyway, not only can you contribute, but people you may know that could either help with the mentors is a big deal, mentoring these kids and stuff. So, well, all that, thank you, and thank you, everybody, for being here, and thank you for anything you do to keep helping.
How about a hand for Bruce? Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So much. So again, if you could fill out, just everyone, even the kids, fill out a pledge card and just put on here something maybe that you think you might be able to do in the future, right? We need summer camp mentors, and we'll be talking about that here in just a minute as we're wrapping up. But if you would, if you have a donation, and if you can take your pledge card before you leave, put it in the white envelope that's in the center of your tables, so that we can, again, put this to good use. Even $5 or $10 can make a difference in helping kids. So just remember, God will never be outgiven, right? So I thank you for that. And, of course, I gave Miss Debbie the checks. I'm a smart man. I make sure my wife knows where the money's going. So with that pledge card, we have an opportunity. We are trying to now build the Character GPS 2.0. And it unfortunately takes a lot of money, a lot of time, and a lot of ingenuity to build a new training system to try to replace us and make it so that it can be multiplied. But we know that God wants multiplication, and we know that our program's needed across this country right now. So anything you can do to help us with that would be greatly appreciated. So now we want to award our students, because this is all about them. And so what we do at our awards banquet here, we are recognizing the very top students in our programs at both Turkey Creek and Emmanuel Lutheran. These kids have shown leadership. They have participated in class. They take their teaching sheets home, and they teach their folks what they're learning. And many of the parents are saying, by the way, they want a Character GPS class for parents. So it's another thing we got to develop here. So I'd like to have our kids from both schools come up and receive this outstanding Character GPS Leadership Award. So come on down. All right. So help me find your certificates here. Larry, Sammy. Yeah, we're going to get everyone stand up together. We're going to get everyone, the whole group, come get your certificates. Abigail, and there's Abigail's. And Katie's, Lane, Keone, there you go. Okay, so if you guys can line up across the front here real quick. We just need to come together, 2 schools merging into one. Character GPS success here. Come on in together. Okay. Can you let me turn the projector off for a second. There we go. Okay. How about a hand for our great They have worked hard, and of course we're coming down the home stretch to their GPS graduation in just a few weeks. Congratulations. And also, we have a special hero award. Things happen, and we recognize them. Larry's sister, Jennifer, when I some of the parents, don't speak English, and I don't speak Spanish, so we have a little disconnect. But Larry's sister, Jennifer, could you come up here? Where is Jennifer Garcia? There she is. All right. So Jennifer, I left a message on the answer machine at home. It was all in Spanish, and I wasn't sure what's going to happen. But Jennifer called me back. She said, Mr. Kane, I got the message here. My parents don't speak English. But I want to make sure that my brother gets the most out of this program. So she helped me with all the information to translate to her parents. And then as I then called about things happening across the semester, she would always call me back, just the sweetest voice, and saying, I just want the best for my brother. I mean, it's like, wow. I said, that is so heroic. We don't have really anything GPS before. So let's create it, right? Something, we're going to try something new. So we have the brand new Outstanding Sister Award. First one ever, Character GPS. And when Larry was going to win this Outstanding Award, she wanted to make sure that he could get here. So she drove Larry here, got out of her job to come and help her brother. I think that just was another round of applause. You are such a hero. You're here. All right. So we love leadership wherever we find it. And another our leaders are mentors. So once they finish the program, they can continue to learn and grow the program by mentoring other kids. So one of our amazing mentors, Malik from Stewart Middle, and so Dr. Wilson knows all about Malik. Here's his picture at his summer camp, the first summer camp he did. He signed up for it. He said, I'm in on this, right? And so there's his proud picture at GPS graduation back in 2018, 60 years ago, right? And immediately he volunteered, I want to be a mentor. I want to be a mentor, right? And so we were mentoring, and then we had COVID hit, so we had to kind of shut down the summer camp. But every year, Malik says, come in, I am ready to mentor. He's been a great mentor for the students, but also for our additional mentors that have come in to join. So one of the things that, again, we are a anti-bullying program, so we created that a GPS anti-bullying mentor leadership club. And Malik was the first member of it. They take a pledge against bullying, and they come up with an action plan on how they can stop bullying in their environment. So Malik was right on board with that. Again, helping our summer camp, and then Garcia, Stryker, Mia, come on down. Our mentors, we want to recognize all of our mentors here. Okay, Stryker, congratulations. Come on up here, don't run away. Mia, congratulations. Here we are, stand right here. I'm gonna close this. Come up, stand here together. Let's get a round of applause for our GPS Summer Camp mentors. Great job. These guys are helping to inspire other kids to reach their full potential as well. And then, coming up again, we want to recognize We've got our own team. So again, I could do the NFL march here, but Walter Perkins. We first met Walter through our great friend Bob, and he was just a great coach, a great mentor. But he came to speak to our kids. Many of them are foster kids during summer camp to give them the encouragement and hope that they can overcome their situations. All right, thank you so much, guys. These are the guys that helped us, Debbie and I, to make it through. So, and Leslie, for him to be here today. All right. And last but not least, thanks so much, guys. An award because we have many of our donors that have stuck with us through the years, and we appreciate their loyalty. So we're kind of going through one at a time here each year, recognizing them. Our last award is for Donor of the Year award, which is thank you for supporting our kids. Our kids are our future, and everything that we can do together is going to make a difference in this world. So thanks for coming to our luncheon. Thanks for your support. And we just want to say a blessing and favor upon all of you and all of our kids that we have the privilege of the